Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology Section B. In our previous session for Science 2, we have completed the explanation for chapter number 8, that is useful and harmful microbes. Today, we are going to discuss the textual exercise for this chapter. So without wasting time, let's begin with question number 1 on page number 95 of your textbook. We begin with question number 1. Complete the statements using the proper option from those given below. Explain the statements. Now here, it is not only fill in the blanks or complete the statement by jotting the correct answer, but whatever answer you have mentioned, you have to give proper explanation for that selected answer. So our first question is, yeast reproduces asexually by dash method. Now you know that a small bud is formed during the asexual reproduction of yeast. So the options are mycotoxins, budding and rhizobium. So all of you know asexually means by budding method. So now why budding? So in short, you have to give the explanation. Small round bodies called buds develop on the parent yeast's cell and new daughter cells are formed from those buds. Hence the method is known as budding method. In short, you can write the explanation in your textbook or a small notebook which you have maintained with you. Small round bodies called buds develop on the parent yeast cell and new daughter cells are formed from those buds. Our second question is, toxins of fungal origin are called mycotoxins. See here you have the hint, word toxins is given. So from the given options, mycotoxins is the answer. Now why mycotoxins? Because fungi release mycotoxins. What are mycotoxins? Certain poisonous chemicals into the food, making the food poisonous. Fungi release mycotoxins, that is certain poisonous chemicals into the food, making the food poisonous, and hence toxins of fungal origin are called mycotoxins. Question number 1C. Leguminous plants can produce more proteins due to rhizobium. You know that rhizobium, they reside in the root nodules of leguminous plants. So leguminous plants can produce more proteins due to rhizobium. Nitrogenous compounds required to produce proteins are produced by rhizobia by fixing atmospheric nitrogen and make it available for leguminous plants. Now here you can write the explanation in your own words also. You have in the textbook on page number 89 under the heading Role and Importance of Rhizobium. Once you get the answer referring the proper topic and the concept, you can write the explanation in your own words. Explanation I have provided for all the three fill-ups. Third one is nitrogenous compounds. More proteins, why they are producing? Because of the supply of nitrates, nitrites by rhizobia, who are present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. So nitrogenous compounds required to produce proteins are produced by rhizobia by fixing atmospheric nitrogen and make it available for leguminous plants. So here we complete with question number 1, that was complete the statements using the proper option, and not only that, explaining the complete statement. We move on to question number 2. Very easy question. Write the names of the microbes. You know the name of our chapter is useful and harmful microbes. So write the names of the microbes found in the following food materials. So name of the food material is given to you. you have to find out which microbe is present in that particular food material. So the first one is yogurt, lactobacilli. We have seen how lactobacilli convert milk into yogurt. So the name of the microbe is lactobacilli. Write down the answers quickly in your textbook. Bread, yeast. Root nodules of leguminous plants, rhizobium. Just now we have seen rhizobium. Idli and dosa, yeast and bacteria are present in both these food materials. And spoiled potato curry, Clostridium. Spoiled potato curry, Clostridium. Yogurt, lactobacilli, bread, yeast, root nodules of leguminous plants, rhizobium, idli dosa, yeast and bacteria, spoiled potato curry, Clostridium. Next one is question number 3. Identify the odd one out and say why it is the odd one. Similar like question number 1. You don't only have to find out the particular answer, you have to give the explanation why it is the odd one. Pneumonia, diphtheria, chickenpox, cholera. You know that this chickenpox, it is caused by a virus, hence vaccines we are taking against chickenpox, whereas the others are the diseases which are caused by bacteria. So the odd one is chickenpox. They have asked us, say why it is odd one. So because it is caused by a virus, others are caused by bacteria. In short, you can write down the answer somewhere. Chickenpox is caused by a virus, others are caused by bacteria. Second one, lactobacilli, rhizobia, yeast, Clostridia. You know, yeast is a fungus, whereas others are either harmful or useful bacteria. So the answer is yeast. Yeast is a fungus, whereas others are bacteria. Yeast is a fungus, whereas others are bacteria. Third one, root rot, rust, tambera, rubella and mosaic. Here rubella is a disease which is caused in human beings, whereas root rot, rust or mosaic of tobacco leaves and all, they are the diseases which are caused in plants. So the odd one out is rubella. What explanation you will give? It is a disease caused in human beings, whereas others are caused in plants. Rubella, it is a disease caused in human beings, whereas others are caused in plants. I repeat once again for those who have not copied down. First one odd one out is chickenpox. It is caused by a virus, others are caused by bacteria. For the second one, yeast is the odd man out because it is a fungus, whereas others are bacteria. Third one, root rot, rust, rubella, mosaic, rubella. It is a disease caused in human beings, others are caused in plants. We move on to question number 4, that is give scientific reasons for. Give scientific reasons. First question is, foam accumulates on the surface of dal kept for a long time in summer. You have seen in the summer season, if you keep the dal without boiling it or not in the refrigerator, after a certain period of time, foam, it accumulates on the surface of dal. You have to give the reason. You know that in the summer season, the climate is very hot, and this bacteria, they require a hot temperature to bring about the process of fermentation. You know your mother, while preparing idli, dosa, the batter, she leaves overnight. Why? Because, and she closes the vessel. Because in that particular temperature, the bacteria can attack and bring about the fermentation very quickly. So what is your first point? During summer season, bacteria attack the dal and cause fermentation of it, producing carbon dioxide gas. In winter season, you know that the climate and all is very cold, so bacteria takes a long time for attacking, and hence you keep your vegetables or prepared food materials inside the refrigerator. They are stored for a longer amount of time. Why? The only reason is that inside the refrigerator climate is cold, So that you can link with the winter season. In winter season, the bacteria will not attack the dal very quickly or any food material. So during summer season, bacteria attack the dal and cause fermentation of it, producing carbon dioxide gas. Therefore, foam accumulates. This is your question. Therefore, foam accumulates on the surface of dal kept for a long time in summer. You know, in cold drinks and all, if you shake the cold drink bottle, due to the accumulation of carbon dioxide gas on the upper part of the bottle, you can see that foam. Similar foam you can see on the surface of prepared food materials in summer season. Second one, why are naphthalene balls kept with clothes to be put away? Why are naphthalene balls kept with clothes to be put away? You know that naphthalene balls, that white colored balls, are kept with the clothes and all, because to prevent the attack from cockroaches or other pests. So naphthalene balls, which are insect repellents, they repel, they do not allow the insects to attack your clothes, to spoil your clothes. So this naphthalene balls, white colored balls, they are insect repellents. They are made up of chemical pesticides. So your first point should be naphthalene balls, which are insect repellents. You can give in the bracket names of the insects like cockroaches, are made up of chemical pesticides. Point number 2 is, hence naphthalene balls are kept with clothes to put away to prevent the damage of the clothes. You know, if these insects and all they enter the clothes, they are going to spoil the quality of your wearings, whatever clothes you wear. So to prevent the damage of the clothes, the naphthalene balls are kept with clothes to be put away. So the answers for both the give reasons I will read once again. Foam accumulates on the surface of dal kept for a long time in summer. During summer season, you can also mention one point if you want. The climate is hot, hence bacteria attack the dal and cause fermentation of it, producing carbon dioxide gas. Therefore, foam accumulates on the surface of dal kept for a long time in summer. Second, why are naphthalene balls kept with clothes to be put away? Naphthalene balls, which are insect repellents, are made up of chemical pesticide. Hence, naphthalene balls are kept with clothes to be put away to prevent damage of clothes. Here we complete question number 4. Question number 5 is, write down the modes of infection and the preventive measures against fungal diseases. This question is omitted. Why it is omitted? Because you can see on page number 94, that entire table they have given, the mode of infection and preventive measure. That part is reduced from the syllabus by the government. So we are not going to write that answer. As I have told you, you can just go through the table for your extra knowledge. So question number 5 is related to the table on page number 94, which is omitted from your syllabus. 25% syllabus is omitted. So that question we are not going to discuss. We move on to question number 6. Match the pairs, that is match the columns, A group and B group. The first one is rhizobium. Options are given on the right hand side. Answer is nitrogen fixation. You all know that rhizobia are used in the fixation of nitrogen in the root nodules of leguminous plants. So answer for rhizobium is nitrogen fixation. Clostridium, you know, it is a harmful microbe. It helps in the poisoning of food. Not helps, you can say, it destroys the food by causing its food poisoning. So answer is Clostridium, food poisoning. Next is Penicillium, production of antibiotics. You know, it is very important in the production of penicillin, a very, very important antibiotic known to us. So Penicillium, production of antibiotics, and yeast is used in the preparation of bakery products to make it soft and spongy. First one, rhizobium, nitrogen fixation; Clostridium, food poisoning; Penicillium, production of antibiotics, and yeast is used in the preparation of bakery products. So here we have completed question number 6. Now we move on to question number 7. Question number 7 and 8 are questions. answer the following questions. Question number 7, first one, which vaccines are given to infants and why? You know, small infants, small babies, after their birth, they are given certain vaccines to prevent their body ahead from that attack of particular disease. What is actually a vaccine? It contains the dead microbes of the organisms which cause that particular disease. So when that vaccine is taken, your body starts preparing antibiotics against that particular microbe. So later on, if that particular microbe attacks the person, the body has already developed the antibodies. Now just now you know the corona attack. The people who are severely affected by corona, they suffer the diabetes and all problems. So plasma of a person who has already been infected with corona and has been recovered from it, that plasma is transferred to the patient, because the patient who is suffering from diabetes and all, their immune system is very weak, they cannot produce the antibodies very quickly. So the plasma of the person who has already recovered from corona, that is transferred to the patient's body. So which vaccines are given to the infants? Chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, BCG, tetanus, influenza, DTP, etc. We will not mention about all the vaccines. 4 to 5 vaccines you are going to name, write down quickly. Chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, BCG, tetanus. It is given after a particular period. When you go to the doctor, he gives you first vaccine and then he tells you after so and so months you have to take the next vaccine. So that chart is provided by the doctor, by the hospital. Tetanus, influenza, DTP, etc. Now they have asked why. Because vaccines contain dead microbes which when injected or taken orally, body produces antibodies against them. So the vaccines are the ones which already contain the dead microbes, or the microbes which are weakened, the microbes which cannot cause the disease. But cause the disease when taken orally. They are weakened microbes. So once these microbes are put in your body will start attacking them, start producing antibodies, antigens which are going to fight against that particular disease. So when they become big, when these children grow up, if by chance they are attacked by that particular microbe which causes that chickenpox or tetanus, the body has already produced the antibodies and the child will be safe. These antibodies are sustained in the body and protects the body from future damage of the disease. Vaccines contain dead microbes which when injected or taken orally, body produces antibodies against them. These antibodies are sustained in the body and protects the body from future damage of the disease. Hence, vaccines are given to infants. These are the points which you are going to mention in your answer. We move on to the next question. How is a vaccine produced? Now this is which I have derived from the internet, from the Google. I will just read the answer. You can take any points on your own from the Google net. If you put the question, how is a vaccine produced? You will get n number of ways by which vaccines can be produced. Now vaccines are made by taking viruses or bacteria and weakening them so that they can't reproduce or replicate themselves very well. Which viruses or bacteria are taken? The ones which cause the particular disease, like chickenpox, influenza, that virus or bacteria are taken. They are weakened in the lab. Why they are weakened? Means once they are introduced in the bodies of small infants or people, they will not be able to reproduce or cause the disease in that person, so that they can't replicate. Children given vaccines are exposed to enough of virus or bacteria to develop the immunity. Now you know even vaccines, they are discovering against corona. So what they are doing, that particular virus which is causing the corona disease, that is administered in the bodies of, they are trying on different animals or something. So that animals, when they are producing the antibodies against it, that will be used as antibiotics to produce the antibiotics later on. So children given vaccines are exposed to enough of virus or bacteria to develop immunity, but not enough to make them sick. Means these vaccines, when they are introduced in the bodies of children, they will not fall ill, but their body will start producing antibiotics and develop the immunity against that particular disease. So here you can give the examples of different vaccines. BCG, triple polio vaccine, these are the names of different vaccines. In short, you can write down quickly. Vaccines are made by taking viruses or bacteria and weakening them so that they can't reproduce themselves as well, or so that they can't replicate at all. Children given vaccines are exposed to enough of the virus or bacteria to develop immunity, but not enough to make them sick. We move on to the next question. Question number 7. C. How do antibiotics cure disease? Now here in your textbook, under the heading antibiotics, you have the answer. Antibiotics are the carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi. Point number 1 is, you have to state what are antibiotics. Antibiotics are the carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi. They cure the disease. They have asked how they cure the disease. They cure the disease by preventing or destroying the growth of harmful microorganisms. First, antibiotics, this is given in the textbook. Antibiotics are the carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi. You all know what are antibiotics. They cure diseases by preventing or destroying the growth of harmful microorganisms. Now our next question is, are the antibiotics given to human beings and animals the same? Why? Now you know, when animals fall ill, the veterinarian doctors, they give different types of antibiotics to animals. So are they same, and why? So antibiotics are generally used to cure the disease caused by harmful bacteria. Antibiotics are generally used to cure the disease caused by harmful bacteria. So it can be given to both human beings or animals. This should be your first point. Now they have asked whether they are same and why. Whether they are same, why, or if they are not same, then why they are not same. If the pathogenic organism of a disease is for both humans and animals, means the organism which is causing the disease, the pathogen which is causing the disease, for both human beings and animal, they are the same, then antibiotics which are given to the humans can be administered to animals as well. Means if the pathogenic organism which is causing the disease is same for both human beings and animals, then the same antibiotic which is given to human beings can be given to animals as well. Here we complete with question number 7C, question number 7D. Now question number 7E is omitted. Why is it necessary to safely store the pathogens of a disease against which vaccines are to be produced? Because already we have covered the answer for vaccines. So no need of writing 7E again. So question number 7 is over. We move on to the last question, that is question number 8. Answer the following questions in brief. Now actually they are not brief, they are small questions. What are broad spectrum antibiotics? You have clear on page number, this answer you are having on page number 91 in your textbook under the heading antibiotics. Under the heading antibiotics, second paragraph, you have some antibiotics are useful against a wide variety of bacteria. They are used against a wide range of bacteria. They are called broad spectrum antibiotics. Now here the question is, what are broad spectrum antibiotics? So it is necessary to give the examples. You can mark in the textbook page number 91 under the heading antibiotics, second paragraph, second line, that is why I am going fast. Some antibiotics are useful against a wide variety of bacteria. They are called broad spectrum antibiotics. Various examples are given. Any one or two examples you can write. After that again mark, when the pathogen cannot be identified, even though the symptoms of disease are visible, then broad spectrum antibiotics are used. It is given in the textbook, page number 91. So question number 8A is over. I hope you have marked. Question number 8B is what is fermentation? Now this is the answer again which I have taken from the Google Net. If you want, you can type on the Google Net what is fermentation and get the answer in your own words. Now all of you know what is fermentation. Just now we have taken the example of batter which is fermented for preparing idli, dosa. So fermentation is a metabolic process that produces chemical changes in organic substrates through the action of enzymes. In biochemistry, it is narrowly defined as the extraction of energy. This from the Google Net you have to take the answer. For your information, for your reference, I have taken one answer from the net. Doesn't mean that you have to copy the same thing. From carbohydrates in the absence of oxygen. In the context of food production, it may more broadly refer to any process in which the activity of microorganisms bring about a desirable change to the foodstuff or beverage. Now you know fermentation of batter for preparing idli, dosa. It is a desirable change. The science of fermentation is known as zymology. This all you need not mention. You only have to mention what is fermentation. In short, you can get the explanation from your net. Last question is define antibiotic. Again on page number 91. Just now we have marked the answer for broad spectrum antibiotics. So under the heading of antibiotics, very first line, carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi for destroying or preventing the growth of harmful microorganisms are called antibiotics. Mark the answer. Page number 91. No need of showing this diagram and all. For your understanding, I have just taken this diagram from Google. You can see such colored tablets which you get when you suffer from fever or any other disease and you go to the doctor. Such capsules, such pink, white colored tablets you get, and that doses have to be taken at regular intervals of time. So mark the answer, page number 91. Carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi for destroying or preventing the growth of harmful microorganisms are called antibiotics. I hope all of you have marked. Those who have not marked, those who are writing down also, I have given you enough time to write the definition. With this we complete with the discussion of textual exercise for chapter number 8. Last additional question you are having is draw a neat label diagram of yeast cell. Only one additional question is there from this chapter. Rest all the topics are already covered in textual exercise. Draw a neat label diagram of yeast cell. I will expect all the children you are supposed to draw the diagram in your notebook. The diagram you will get in your textbook on page number 90, figure 8.3. And whatever labelings they have given in the textbook, that much labelings only you will draw. They have shown bud, they have shown cell membrane, that is the cell wall they have shown, then nucleus and cytoplasm. These 4 labelings only you show in your notebook. So here we have completed the discussion of question answers for chapter number 8. So chapter number 8 is fully over now. Now all your use your brain power, do you know, everything you know, they have cancelled it off in reduction of syllabus. Only on page number 94, towards the end, you have collect the information. Which animal and plant diseases are caused by microorganisms and what are the measures to be taken against them. This you have to collect the information. You just, if you get time, collect the information from the net and don't write anything from it in the notebook. Already enough of question answers are there from this chapter, so need not write this. Rest all, if you see, use your brain power and all they have cancelled. Only one is there on page number 88. Can you tell how is yogurt made from milk? That answer is already printed below it. We have discussed. So again you do not write that answer in your notebook. So here chapter number 8 is over. Now from section B only one chapter is remaining. That is chapter number 10, Information Communication Technology, ICT. That will be taken up by computer section. Krishna sir will take this chapter. So after that section B portion will be over for your first semester exam. So we complete chapter number 8. all of you are going to complete your notebooks, draw the diagrams wherever required, and start studying for your exam. Thank you, dear children.